What is going on, movie meals? Movie meals. I moved. I didn't move again. Like I didn't move apartments, but I moved my table. I'm not. I don't have a fireplace. I also can't get this dang thing to stay on this table, so I just decided to ditch it. Um, Waiting for my desk. Movie meals. I bought a nice new desk. I bought some great looking shelving. I was gonna start making a legit amazing looking studio, and my desk never showed. Amazon, it never showed. It was supposed to be here on Friday. It's Sunday. Where's my desk? I was so pumped to put it together and surprise Kyle with this beautiful studio, and now I have to go back to the blank wall, the pale white loser that I am, because the light's too dang close because I moved everything. Meanwhile, Kyle's over here shooting in 4K. He bought a ring light. He's looking beautiful as ever. God,
Thank
no
you.
wonder I'm making a scrapbook of Kyle. I bought a scrapbook. It's going for Kyle. Going off the deep end. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Steve, Kimberly, and Karen, for supporting the show. Go get some Movie Meals merch. Kyle's sporting it. Kyle and I were up late last night. We talked about making a video for this, and we never did. But
Yeah.
we're in a movie club. Shout out to Tanner, guest host of Another Happy Landing, who came up with the idea. So a bunch of us in our movie club together. Every 2 weeks, we rotate through, and pick a movie to watch. There's like 15 of us in it or something like that, and we decided to do some brackets, a Lou Mart, in the light of March Madness brackets, and we did a superhero / comic book movie bracket, and we got all stayed up late last
Spicy.
night. Yeah, we got pretty spicy. Shout out to Andy
Intense.
Essays, friend of the show, Zachariah, a good friend of ours. He
Hmm.
those two went at it. They went at it. It was pretty fun, and
Yeah. Yeah.
of course, I think the movie one that we all thought would win, which was The Dark Knight. But I fought hard for Spider-Man, man. I fought hard for Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that movie, people were saying some things that shouldn't be said about that movie. It's too good.
I mean, yeah, it is too good. Yeah, there was just so many times during that where just the pairings, like what movies were going against each other, then it was like, choosing which child you love more. And it's like,
Yeah. And
how
we
do I
had to
even
there
choose?
were times I was hosting it, and there were times I was like, all right, we're done talking about the MCU. We're gonna go over to the Fox movies
We need a
because those were
breather.
so quick and easy, but we were just arguing about the MCU. And speaking of the MCU, what we are here for is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So
Hey.
episode 5, this is the penultimate episode. The finale is next
Hmm.
week. It was 60 minutes. Um, this has been a much longer show. So let's just get into it. Kyle, what did you think of this episode? Any all spoilers. All bets are off. So what did you think of the episode, and where do you want to start?
I was very surprised by how much I loved this episode. Just because by all the subject matters that were really being handled throughout the entirety of the episode. It was funny, like this might end up have becoming my favorite episode so far, and I was surprised since episode 4 was so good. But I think episode 5, like it wasn't relying this time on like, action set pieces and action sequences. It was relying on a lot more character development, character moments, quieter moments, and it was able to tackle subject matters in an MCU movie and an MCU and Disney show that we've been able to see already, like in Black Panther, for example. There's just talks about race and all those things connected in regards to that. But it feels like Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were able to do that like really well during this episode, which really was surprising. I mean, we saw with Isaiah Bradley's character about how the government, took advantage of him being able to handle the super soldier serum and eventually throwing him in jail and not being able to treat him as well as they did with the first Captain America. But this episode like really goes to distance in explaining like why, obviously like why that was so terrible, but also explain for Sam Wilson why it's so hard for him to decide that he should be Captain America. And I think this was a tough these were a bunch of tough events that Sam was going through in order to figure out if he should be Cap or not. And I think this show was doing it right and making him get his final decision to do the job and be Captain America with these quieter moments, with these character development moments, not relying on like action heavy sequences. So I was really impressed by I guess trusting in Feige and trusting in the showrunners, Disney did, to be able to do something like this in a Marvel show. So I give them big props for that, for being able to do that, because I was surprised by how much they really delved into it here.
I absolutely loved the cold open. I loved it. I mean, obviously they don't have
Yeah,
like an
the cold open's
intro
great.
song, but the cold open before the title is just awesome. I mean, that fight scene is great. It plays so much back to when Cap and Falcon had Bucky in the big, they were in the car shop and had him in his arm kind of trapped, and then they have that conversation. And that fight was awesome. I mean, him like I loved Bucky just dropping the shield at Sam's feet and saying, "You're the
Hmm.
new Cap, man. Basically, you've gotta take the mantle." And him like wiping the blood off frantically. I loved the fallout with John Walker. I loved that the show ended with an end credit scene of him building his own shield. That was
Like a
awesome.
crazy person. Yeah.
Yes, I loved it that he has just gone off the deep end. I absolutely adored this episode. A lot of people I think are not going to appreciate this episode because it is slower, but I think people are not going to grasp the weight of this episode and what Marvel is doing. Not only do you have an absolutely incredible conversation and performance by for both Falcon and Isaiah, which that might have been my favorite part of the whole show for
Definitely.
so
Yeah.
far. Their conversation about what happened, what did they do to Isaiah over these years, the conversation of what things that Kyle and I are never going to really ever understand because we are not black men in America or just black men in general. And I just thought it was moving and it was powerful. And I got on Twitter after and different social medias just to kind of see what was the reaction. And you saw a lot of people from the black community talking about how important that is. And, last night in our big movie conversation, we got into a lot of discussions about culture and movies like Black Panther and the things that they've done into the Spider-Verse. And so that moment alone hit incredibly well. And then to transition to the boat montage, which I thought was really nice, where we kind of just took a step back from the hero work to remember that
Yeah.
a lot of movies like The Boys, or shows like The Boys, uh, they get I think of something too like My Hero Academia that is wildly loved. These different superhero shows that do take time to not, that if you live in a world of superheroes, they're not always going to be saving the day. There's a lot of shows that get a lot of praise for that, and it feels like Marvel right now is not getting praise for that. They're not getting praise for these quiet moments. They tried it with Avengers: Age of Ultron, with Hawkeye, and I really have always loved this when they step back and say, no, there's a lot more to being a hero. Like, I still have to do my
Hmm.
everyday stuff, and I loved all of the stuff with his sister, Bucky flirting with his sister,
Yeah.
them working on the boat together. I just thought was great. If like Cap could see that, he would just he would just have the biggest grin on his face. He'd be so happy.
Yeah.
And then to the conversations with them training with the shield. This episode was so good with the conversations because I loved the conversation between Bucky and Sam saying like, you need to do what makes others feel better. You keep doing what you think is going to work to make you feel better, and it's just not. And I wonder if we're going to open up this next episode to um, Bucky talking with the old man that he killed his son, that we saw earlier in the season. I wonder if that's how this episode starts. If Bucky's making amends and says the truth, because all his this man wants just justice to know who did it, who took him out, who took his son. And I really like that. My Hawkeye theory was wrong. I still stand that it's possible, but they tricked me with all those trees in the house, the different angles. It tricked me.
Who else
Um,
has trees and houses?
I know I guaranteed it at 98%, I think, last week, and I was wrong.
Yeah. A bit of a
But
bold claim.
hey, we could still get a cameo. Who knows? I liked the Zemo stuff. I like him being taken by um the Dora Milaje. I did wonder if Bucky, when they left, if Bucky was gonna kind of go, hey, what's with the arm, taking my arm off? Because social media couldn't handle it. I don't know if you saw that, Kyle, but people couldn't handle that. They put in a way to take the arm off, and that it was about not trusting. And I know you and I talked about that, but I really don't believe that them putting a failsafe is a thing not about trust. It's like, imagine if you're, if you live with an alcoholic, you're not going to put a booze in the house and then say, and then have that same argument. Like, you're just not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to keep it out. And I think it's a fail safe. It's, hey, if you ever attack us, if you ever go rogue again, if it ever does happen, we want to be prepared. There's nothing wrong with being a Batman and having ways to take out the whole Justice League. Like, let's shout out to the animated Justice League show, an absolute incredible show. But I thought he was going to say that. He didn't. I'm really curious to see what Falcon's suit is going to look like, his Captain America suit, because I don't think it's going to look super similar. And they had such a conversation, Isaiah saying, I think he said something like, no self-respecting black man would wear those stars and stripes. And because he's getting his suit from Wakanda, I wonder if there's not going to be any stars and stripes, and there's going to be a new symbol or something like that. And maybe there will be. I'm just kind of curious where they're going to go with it. But I've talked a lot, so I'm curious if you've got anything off of, real quick, last thing. And then the montage of him training was amazing. The fact that he ran so somebody could say on your left. I don't know if you caught that, but he always was on the side of the frame to have somebody running next to him. And I thought that was just incredible. Like, that day on set, Anthony Mackie ran straight in the frame and then the director came up or something, or Anthony, or the director said, do it like this. And then he said, hey, how about I go over to the side here? Just in case Cap comes running. Like, those conversations on set are probably amazing, but I loved the montage and him doing the Cap flips and the fact that he's not a super soldier. He's a normal dude. And it's so cool. And I love that he left the wings with his buddy, and his buddy's probably going to become the new Falcon, which I believe he does in the comics. So, but anyway, now Kyle, I've ranted enough. What do you think?
Where should I go? Okay, I'm gonna go back real quick to what you were saying about the scene where Sam's talking to Bucky about, like, hey, like, you need to not try and gain like you shouldn't get like satisfaction, I guess, from other people. Like, you need to be your own man, you need to be yourself. I was liking, I like that part, but I also like the opposite side of how Bucky was talking to Sam, where Bucky pretty much admits, like, he and Steve, when talking about in Endgame, probably like behind the scenes, I don't think there was a scene in Endgame about this, but that they think that Sam should be, or that Cap is thinking that Sam should be the next Captain America, that they weren't thinking about, what that would mean for Sam as a black man, or the, black community, or how the rest of America would perceive it. I thought that was a really quick line, but I thought that was a really impactful line, because it was thinking about the characters in the correct way. Like, not saying that, like, Bucky is, a racist man from the 40s, but I'm just saying, like, Bucky clearly wouldn't think about something like that just because he's the white man in general, like him and Cap. So it was, so I like both of those talks that they are having with each other, just about those things that those characters are going through. It was go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
I just wanted to say, so you said it was a quick line, and again, we're coming from the perspective too. I mean, look at me right now on these white lights. I'm extremely pale. You're coming from the perspective of two white guys, but I wonder, and I'd be curious to know, what somebody, what other people think of this. But it's a quick line. He just says, we were two dudes from back when who never even thought that a black man could be Captain America, but we were wrong, and I'm sorry. And I wonder if there isn't any more to say. Like, what else do you say in that position to somebody whose history, their family lineage has just gone through horrible things at the hands of white people, and you just wonder if there's nothing really more to say, if just saying we were wrong and I'm sorry and I've got your back, if that's enough. And so I think it really liked the line. Yeah. And when they when they went in for like the bro, kind of like handshake, and they kind of pulled each other in for that bro hug, that to me was the ultimate sign of they've gotten past everything. These two are now what Cap always wanted. But please continue. I do apologize for interrupting.
Anyway, the Sam training montage was cool. it's a montage. Like there was a part of me where I was like, wow, he's picking up on this quick, but whatever. It's a train montage. There's 6 episodes in here. I kind of get it to an extent. I actually haven't even thought about Sam's new suit, to be honest. Like
Well, they didn't show us
but you
it.
make it. What was that?
They didn't show it to us, is just why I'm caught up on it so much.
Yeah, I
Get
don't
it.
know. I guess like in the back of my mind, like I was thinking of it as like, Wakandan tech mixed with, Captain America colors. But I guess you make a good point though.
Ooh,
Like, but I
you
guess you
make a
do make
good
a good
point.
point though. Like maybe it is possible that this new suit won't have Captain America or like, red, white, and blue on it. Like it could be possible that this is just it could just be like a very like the same colors as the Falcon suit minus like the wings, and it just looks more Wakandan, like that was a very interesting point that I think you brought up. Like I don't think this suit is going to be, it's very possible that this suit won't be comic accurate, I don't think.
I like your point about the Wakandan technology. I wonder if they say, hey, he is not going to be a super soldier, so let's give him a little bit of that tech that'll help him be stronger, be better, and be faster. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like that. And they didn't show it because there's going to be a cool superhero moment with him in this new
Oh yeah,
suit
he's
that I
going to do
think
the
will look
superhero
really
drop.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely. Man, if he does the actual like cap drop, that would be cool because we saw John Walker do it, but Falcon doing it would be really cool. And we can't even call him Falcon anymore. He's Cap. Steve is no longer Cap. He's retired.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
must say his name is Steve, and the new Captain America is here. And I had Friday off. Normally I don't have Friday off of teaching, but I had Friday off, so I watched the episode late. And normally I get up early and I watch it early in the morning because I just don't want to wait throughout the whole day, and I want to be able to see what people are saying. And I'd never got on Twitter much to see it, but I'm curious what the reaction is because you think of the people who bullied the heck out of Wyatt Russell for being the new Cap as the clear painted villain and a really good written villain in
Yeah.
this show. And now I'm wondering, is the reception warm for Anthony Mackie to be the new Cap? I would assume it is because we've been around him forever, but you never know what horrible racist people say. So, but I love it. I love everything Marvel is doing right now. Have you seen the clip? There's a clip that's like resurfaced, and I think I remember us talking about it like way back, or like freshman year of college or something. Um, and it's at like the press for like one of the movies. I think it's for after Civil War, and somebody pitches the like, when are we going to get a Falcon and Winter Soldier road trip movie? And you can see Kevin Feige sitting there, and he's kind of like this. He goes, "That's a great idea," and he leans into the mic and says that. He literally says that, and everybody's being like, the moment Kevin Feige realized that a Falcon and Winter Soldier story would work. And man, Kevin is just, I'm going to preach it till I die, man. He is one of the greatest storytellers in the history of cinema and just in any medium. I really do believe that. I'm to the point where I believe it.
I'm sorry. In this case, the credit should be given to that kid that asked that question.
Yes,
Where is it? Is he getting his residuals? Come on, Kevin.
the kid who probably threw a huge fit to his mom. Mom, I want to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That's what I want for Christmas, Mom. That's what he did. And Mom took him,
The
and he's
kid
like, I
got
want
it.
to get into Hall H, and I want to see Kevin Feige.
I got a question.
I have to
It's
ask about the road
important.
trip. Yeah. But anything else about
We
the
need to.
show?
Yes, we need to talk about
Kevin.
Julia Dreyfuss.
Yes, I completely. Oh my God, when
Yes,
she popped in, I was like, Julia, what are you
I
doing
know.
here?
I was
I
like,
love it.
okay.
I
So
love it.
apparently, this character was supposed to first show up in. This is what I've been reading. I don't know if it's fully accurate, but this
I
is what I've
wish I
been
knew how to
reading
read.
from outlets. It's I wish you could too, man. I've been reading that this character was supposed to appear in Black Widow first in some capacity, and seen as though this character that she's playing here in Winter Soldier seems like she's kind of hiring or wanting to hire John Walker in some way. I'm wondering if this is going to lead. I'm spacing on what her character's name is supposed to be now. I'll look it up here,
I'll
but
look it up
I'm
right now while
wondering
you're
if
talking.
Okay. I'm just curious if there's something afoot with this character to where she's going to be assembling some sort of like oh, what were these characters called? Like the Thunderbolts, or a sort of secret Avengers type team, even
She
not secret Avengers, Dark Avengers, I think is probably the better team name
she
for it.
she's playing the character of Valentina Aldra de Fonte, but you can call her Val.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I'll
look
call
up
her
who that
Val.
is in the comics while you continue your conversation.
Well, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head too, from what I've been capturing about this character. I believe like she, was some sort of secret agent, like a double agent of sorts. I think she worked with uh General Ross or Thunderbolt Ross when assembling like the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers sort of teams. So I'm wondering if this is the direction that's heading when it comes to this next, I guess, quote unquote phase of the MCU, is if this is going to be right now the overarching story of assembling like a Dark Avengers team, and then maybe later down the road there could be something even bigger than that, maybe like a Galactus sort of character. But that was quite a surprise, because we were hearing like a big name was about to come into the show, and honestly I
Maybe
was
that's
thinking like,
it.
oh, then it is Hawkeye, like Hawkeye is going to show up, but
Yeah.
turned out to be Dreyfuss.
She went by the alias of Madam Hydra for a while, and she had a part in Secret
Right.
Wars. She worked with Nick Fury quite a bit, fighting against Norman Osborn's hammer. When Hydra took control of Shield. When I saw her, the first thing I thought of was, is she connected to Sword? Did she take over the fallout of Sword? Obviously, I don't know the comic history, but that was my thought. I was like, this is the new villainous Nick Fury. This, and really the feeling I got from her was who does Viola Davis play in Suicide Squad? Amanda
Oh,
Waller.
Amanda Waller. Yeah.
That's the similar vibe I got. Like, this is somebody who's going to get together a team that's going to end up being the villains.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about the Black Widow stuff, and I'm curious if like maybe they go that route with Florence Pugh's character. Like maybe she pops in to recruit her to this I was gonna say like Dark Avengers team. If that's is that what you said it was, the Dark Avengers?
Yeah, there's Dark Avengers. I think the Thunderbolts was also another team similar in that vein.
I
Yeah.
don't know the Thunderbolts, but if they do something like that and they get like, I wonder if she recruits Florence Pugh's character and then she does a turn, might be interesting. If she's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
become the new Black Widow, but I that's the vibe I got, that she was some sort of like either took over Sword, or I know there's like 80 million Sword, Shield, hammers in the comics. Like I
Yeah.
wonder if she was going to be one of those, if it's the Thunderbolts or whatever. I hope it's not the Thunderbolts. It's kind of a lame name. um
I get
except for
that.
the movie about the like teen family that saves people of big rocket ships. That Thunderbolts, that's awesome. um Oh, people know
Not
what I'm
familiar.
talking about. You know what
I
I'm
guess.
talking about. Drop it in the
Okay.
comments.
Let
Went to
me
see that movie
educate
with
me.
my
I have no
brother,
idea.
Annie Essays, as well as my father, the absolute stud of movies himself, Ricky Dubs. And
His YouTube channel name.
it's just what we call him these days.
Ricky Dubs.
Yeah, he's always getting them dubs, man. Uh, yeah, she's up to something, but I love it's gotten to the point and you wonder if a lot of high profile actors and actresses have the same view of the MCU that Helen Mirren has of the Fast and Furious franchise. Because if you remember, for those who are listening who don't, Helen Mirren very publicly said, "I'm joining Fast and Furious because these movies look so much fun." And you wonder if people are just to that point with the MCU where it's like, man, I'd love to be in it because it's just so much fun. The actors seem to talk at length about how great it is working for Marvel and the things they do. I mean, outside of the James Gunn debacle, have they been in any hot water ever? They've never had an actor speak up poorly about them. They've never had, have they, Kyle? Is there anything you can think of? Like, I can't think of anything that's ever happened.
I mean, not even Edward Norton, not even Terrence Howard. I get, well, Terrence Howard maybe
Well,
a little.
okay,
That was years ago.
Terrence Howard
I'm
and
going
Ed
way
Norton,
far back into
you
figuring
are,
out
but
like what. Yeah.
You could even say Edgar Wright, but you got to remember Edgar Wright was going to make a very different Ant-Man movie than they had changed their minds to. That really was
Man,
creative
that would have been
differences.
awesome.
Edward Norton still is creative differences. Edward Norton wanted a very serious Jekyll and Hyde style story for the Hulk
Yeah.
next, and they did not want to do that once the MCU really got kicked off. And Terrence Howard did leave on bad terms, but that was literally after the first movie. But outside of
Yeah.
those little things, like there's not a whole lot of like bad drama, like, and I think too, I don't know if you've seen this, but like, I know you've seen part of this, but like there was that big rumor forever that Brie Larson couldn't stand and was fighting with every single actor in the MCU. I don't know. Do you remember
Oh
that?
yeah.
That they
Yeah,
like
I do remember
didn't
that.
like her. I've actually seen TikTok threads and videos on YouTube that are completely debunking that. Because they
Yeah.
just literally the debunking is watch the full interview. Like I've
Yeah.
seen the full interviews just on their own. Like it's just really just the playful, goofing off, or it's clearly a bunch of actors who have been all over the world, extremely exhausted with press, and maybe a joke didn't hit well. Kyle and I have jokes that don't hit well all the time with each other that peeve each other. Like they don't, there's
Yeah.
none of that because you
Yeah.
can go find a million other interviews and they're having a blast. So it's like I really can't think of anything. Like there's just they just people want to be in this, and that they probably called Julia up and said, "Do you want to be a part of the MCU?" And she's like, "Oh, absolutely." Like, where do I sign? Like, it's just to that point. The MCU is just something that's never going to happen again. It is this generation's Star Wars, is really what it is. It is a new blockbuster, massive franchise that has completely taken over the world. I remember I got into a debate with, I think it was at Age of Ultron. It might have even been later than that, with a good friend of ours, Carson, who said he thought the Avengers theme song was iconic, that it was now at the level of you could hear it anywhere, up with the Superman theme, Star Wars main theme, things like that, Jurassic Park, and you would know exactly what that is. And I was like, I just don't know if it's quite there yet. And I think it's there now. I think it's been there for a bit since then. Like I play scores and soundtracks to the kids. When I get tired of listening to the Kids Bop or Disney over and over. But and I played the Avengers theme, and immediately a bunch of them are like, "Oh, this is the Avengers," and they're six. Like it's there. I've gone on a tangent. But anything else, Kyle, about the show that you want to talk about, or anything I've just gone off on my tangent about that you want to touch on?
I was surprised by, well, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but um uh, Zemo's ending in this show, or it seems like his ending in the show, was a bit sudden, but I kind of liked it at the same time. I thought there was some good closure between him and Winter Soldier. I appreciated that we finally got to see him at his family's gravesite, and it just reminded me that
I
the
liked it.
characteristics and the intentions of this character's motives are still there. Like, yeah, there was a bit of retconning stuff with him kind of with him being revealed that he's rich and has always been rich and this and that, and but it just was a reminder at the same time that his motives and his intentions and his mindset is still there for all the way back from Civil War. So I appreciate that scene in general, but especially have grown to like that character even more so than I already have. And John Walker, man, again, Wyatt Russell is so good in this show. Like
He
him
is.
lying to oh, his friends, I'm spacing on his name now, but his friends family, saying like, don't worry, I killed the man that killed your son. Like, I was like, oh, you were the lowest of low, man. But at the same time, like, I don't know, at the same time it's also like, but man, like his family really does think like he's a good man, but we know like he's not necessarily a good. It just worked in all the right ways, and it just frustrated me even more so. But that's why I've been really enjoying this character, because it's not like a one-off, one-note character. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot more about him, and it gets under your skin, and it works perfectly, especially for this show. So
Loved the
Wyatt Russell is doing
conversation.
great.
I loved the conversation he had with his partner's family. I can't remember the
Hmm.
partner's name off the top of my head, but
I'll
I
look at it.
loved that
I'll look it up now.
conversation, especially with his sister just staring. I don't know if that was his sister or his wife. I guess they didn't really explain it. But wasn't it like Battlestar is his code name or something?
Yeah, that's his code name. I'm trying to remember. I said it last week too. I'm just sorry,
I
everyone,
loved
for
that, and
spacing on
I loved that the parents said, "We're glad you took the serum." I
Lamar. It did
loved
start with an L.
Lamar. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I thought that whole thing was great, and Wyatt Russell really is knocking it out of the park. And
Hmm.
um, I just, man, everything was just so good. The fallout with him was so good, with them yelling, like him saying, "No, I am Captain America. You need to listen to the whole situation." And then being like, "No, you are our prize pony, and you did something we didn't like, and now we're gonna go get a new one." And
Hmm.
him yelling at the end, like, "Return the shield to us soon." And it's like, okay, they don't realize he doesn't have the shield anymore.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
And
Sam's in
Val comes over.
Florida
She's like, "You
training.
don't have the shield."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, we know." Um, yeah, I liked all that. I thought it was man, this is just a great episode. I really liked it. And I'm curious to see how long the next one is. I wonder if they're gonna do something sneaky and we're gonna get like an hour and a half, and we're basically just gonna get a movie for the
Yeah,
finale of this. I mean, 50 minutes would be plenty. But something big's gonna happen. I mean,
totally.
Sharon too gets one little quick scene in this episode and says, talking to some random person, getting somebody to do something. We still haven't met the power broker. Carly is still up to something.
Who is the
So
power broker? Who do you think it is? And what's Sharon up to?
I think the power broker is Mephisto. We
Lock it in.
found him.
I think
I
it's
got it
John Krasinski
100%.
as Reed Richards.
It, Emily Blunt will be there as Sue Storm. Kyle.
Clearly,
Actually,
we saw her in the background, in the far
actually,
back, blurry vision.
actually, the power broker in comics number 754 is played by Matt Damon in the comics. Actually, that's how it is. So Matt Damon is returning to reprise
Really,
his
Matt
comic
Damon.
role, as well as already appearing in the MCU in Thor Ragnarok. Matt Damon, man, if Matt Damon popped in as the power broker, though, I'd low key be pretty all right
He just
with it.
cameos in every single Marvel thing now, besides Thor.
um, Man, it's I don't know if you know this, but Matt Damon and Chris Hemsworth's families are like super close. Like he moved to
Mm.
Australia. The Damons did. They lived there. Like I think they're neighbors now to the Hemsworths. They hang out
Oh,
all the
okay.
time. And I'm pretty sure that's how he got the cameo. Is Chris
Oh,
probably said
yeah.
like this would be a perfect role for Matt Damon and whoever that other actor was. Or wasn't it the other Hemsworth brother? I think it might have been. Because there was
Yeah.
two actors. One of them he was playing Loki, and then the other was playing Thor. But
Hmm.
um, wasn't he fat Thor in that little play in Ragnarok anyway? Wasn't Thor fat?
No,
Oh, we got
no.
into a big debate about Endgame on fat Thor last night.
Of
Fat
course we did.
Thor. So
Yeah.
because that's the nerds we are. But anyway, I think that's it for this show, right? This after show. We got one episode left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, um, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the patrons. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Another Happy Landing dropped yesterday. Go check that out. Tanner and I reviewed season 2 of the Clone Wars TV show. I had to think about it. I've been watching so much TV.
Hmm.
I'm powering through that show in a week. It's 22 episodes in a week. Is when you also
It's
are doing
tough.
other things these days. It's tough. It's not the college days anymore.
No.
I get it done though. I'm also halfway through season 4 already, so I'm moving. But anyway, so let's thank you guys for the patrons. Go get some merch. Kyle's got it on right now. I don't know why I had my merch on all day yesterday. I don't know why I should have just left it on and be absolutely lazy. But all right, thank you
Shame.
guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please go become a member of the Patreon and support us. I would love to hear comments from people on what they thought about everything we touched on, especially with this idea of a Black Captain America in the MCU. I think that's
Hmm.
an interesting conversation. I'd love to hear other people's viewpoints. So please comment below and let us know your thoughts there. Yeah, and as always, thank you for watching, Mom.
See you guys.